With all the hype around agentic coding tools like Claude Code and Cursor, people are asking, is N8N still relevant? Why would you drag and drop workflows together if you can simply vibe code the entire thing? As a professional software engineer and educator here on YouTube, I use Claude Code every single day. And the truth is, N8N is still a valuable part of my daily workflow. These two tools together is an insane combination, and in this video I'll show you how I use them side by side. From exposing N8N workflows as MCP servers, to receiving notifications on my phone when Claude Code completes its work. If you're building anything with Claude Code or N8N, you definitely don't want to miss this. N8N makes it really simple to rapidly build out a prototype. Take this workflow for example. This generates a short video script. It then uses SORA2 to generate the video, and it then automatically uploads the video to YouTube. I created this workflow in less than 5 minutes using N8N. This makes N8N the perfect platform for rapidly prototyping an idea, and once we prove that it works, we can easily move this into a separate application. And there's different ways of doing that as well, which we'll explore in this video. Right, so N8N just created this video using SORA2, and the video was uploaded to YouTube. And we can see that video on the YouTube channel as well, complete with the title and description. And this was all created within a few minutes. Now, of course, we can simply run this on a job, which will automatically generate the video and then upload it to YouTube on a daily basis. Or we could also build an application around this workflow, something maybe with a UI and user authentication, anything we want. And there are many ways that we can use Claude Code to do exactly that. The one technique is to simply download this workflow, then back in our Claude Code project, I'll just create a new folder called docs. Then we'll add that N8N workflow to docs. I'm just going to rename this to N8N. And what we can do then is simply pull in this workflow and say, hey there, so we're starting off with an N8N workflow. I actually want to convert this workflow into a Next.js application. It correctly identified that there are two triggers, one manual and one that runs every day at 4 p.m. There's also a script generator that uses GPT-5 to generate a humorous 8-second micro-documentary script with structured output. And that will return the script, the title, and description. We also have the video generation step, which uses OpenAI SORA2 to create a short in a vertical format from the script. And then it also uploads the video to YouTube. And of course, our project is currently empty. So Claude is going to ask us a few questions like, what do we want to do? What kind of Next.js app do we want? A web UI where we can trigger generations and see results, or a headless API backend that replicates the automation pipeline. So this is really where we can flesh out our app idea with Claude Code. And after answering these questions, Claude Code will now convert our N8N workflow into an actual application that we can deploy along with user authentication, anything we want. Just to be clear, that technique will not use the N8N workflow at all. It's going to build its own solution that mimics this behavior, which might be exactly what you want. Maybe you're using OpenRouter with the AI SDK or the Claude Code Agent SDK, who knows? But that's a great way to take this proof of concept and to build a standalone application which you can deploy to production. But what if you wanted to build a beautiful UI that simply invokes your N8N workflow? Well, that's really easy as well. In this example, we can actually add another trigger. So we could simply add a webhook trigger connected to this very first node. Then we can grab this URL, and in Claude Code, we can simply do something like, please create a web app that generates SORA2 videos and automatically uploads them to YouTube. Now, for the backend logic, we will actually use an N8N workflow. Here's the N8N webhook. And then we can paste in our webhook URL. And now we can get Claude Code to build a UI for our application, again with any user authentication and anything we want. And the actual complexity of the application, so all of the sort of backend logic, will remain in N8N. So we're kind of using N8N as our backend infrastructure. And the great thing about this approach is we can actually go to executions and we can see all our previous executions as well. And from here, we can even debug any issues and we can restart these workflows as well. This can be really useful if you're building super complex workflows that might upload a video, but also send an email and also update Slack. I mean, you can really go as wild as you want. You know, we can have our YouTube node, we can also add Slack integration, we can maybe send WhatsApp messages, anything we want. But from our UI perspective, it's simply a button to generate a video, and all of the complexity is handled in N8N. One of the most popular use cases of N8N, and probably the easiest way to make a side income, is to build customer support chatbots for business websites. So this means we can add this chat bubble to any website, and now we have a chatbot with knowledge about this business. So we could ask what are the current specials, and this agent will have access to the menu or any information related to this business. For example, the current specials. And you will also notice that this chat bubble does have the same theme and style of the main website. N8N makes it really easy to customize these chatbots. And setting up a workflow like this could not be any easier. We simply have an AI agent node. We're using OpenRouter for the AI inference. We have conversation memory, and of course access to the restaurant's information. It's even able to make reservations as well. If you want a step-by-step tutorial on building this agent and embedding it into any website, you can simply watch this video over here. I'll link to it in the description of this video. But you might be wondering how this is related to Claude Code at all. Well, this chatbot has this when chat message received trigger, and if we open this, we get these instructions for embedding these chatbots into websites. So this gives us access to this N8N chat widget with a lot of technical details on adding it to a website. So if you don't want to deal with trying to embed this yourself and creating the custom styling, which can be quite a challenge as well. If you look at all of the customization going on here, really all you have to do is copy this article. You can send it to Claude Code and do something like, hey, please can you embed this chatbot widget into my website and also adjust the colors accordingly to match the website's brand. Something like that. So obviously you want Claude Code to be open in your website's project and it will do all the customization for you. Here's another really popular use case. You can expose any workflow or tool as an MCP server from N8N. And trust me, N8N supports a lot of different platforms. There's like hundreds, if not thousands of integrations here. For example, the Gmail node, which allows us to create drafts or read emails or send emails. For this demo, what we can do is actually use a data table. This is a database that's built into N8N, and these are really easy to set up. So let me show you. If we go to data tables, we can easily create a new data table like this to-do table, and we can specify any columns we want, like the title, the status, the category, whatever we want. We can easily add or remove columns as well. And we can manually add or remove records. It's really that simple. So let's say we wanted to expose our to-dos to our Claude Code instance. So that way we can ask Claude Code what our daily to-dos are, even add to-dos, update them, whatever we want. All we have to do is create a new workflow. Then let's search for MCP and the MCP server trigger. We can add authentication if we want. I'm simply going to rename this to, let's just call this N8N to-dos. We'll get back to this node in a second. And now we can add any of those integrations to this node. So for our example, we'll search for our data table. Now we can specify any operation. Let's do get. Then from this list, let's select to-dos. And that's really it. Now we have an MCP server that can retrieve our to-dos. I'm just going to rename this one to get to-dos. Maybe we can add another one like data table. And for the operation, let's leave it on insert. Let's select to-dos and let's rename this to add to-dos. Cool. So now we can actually just publish this workflow. Back in this node, let's grab the production URL. Then I'll just exit out of Claude Code for a second. And now we can run Claude MCP add -- transport SSE -S for scope project. Then we can give the server any name we want, like N8N to-dos. Let's paste in that URL, like so. And that created this mcp.json file. And if you want, you can simply create this file yourself. It's probably easier than that command. So now that that's done, what we can do is run Claude. And now if we go to MCP, we can see our N8N to-dos, which is authenticated and connected. And if we go to view tools, we can see the 2 tools that we added. So you can add as many workflows as you want with as many tools as you want. So you can get Claude Code to send emails, update Slack. There's just so many different options here. Let's try this. Please retrieve my to-dos. And look at that. It's going to call our N8N to-dos tool, which is perfect. And we get the results by bread, call mom, and by dog food. And if we go to our data table in N8N, we can see those to-dos as well. If you've ever used Claude Code, I'm sure that you know exactly how long it can take for the agent to complete certain tasks, sometimes going on for 20 or 30 minutes. And I don't want to sit around and babysit the agent. Now we can use N8N to send that notification to any platform we want, really. It could be Slack, it could be an email, WhatsApp message, Telegram, you name it. Now setting this up is really easy. So we can simply create a new workflow. Let's call it Claude Code Notifications. And I'm just going to use Telegram for this one. In fact, I've got an entire video showing you exactly how to set up all of this, so I'll link to that video in the description. Now, in order for N8N to reliably communicate to Telegram, you will need to run N8N in the cloud. Now, of course, you could just pay for their service. So if you go to pricing, you will see that this is actually 24 euros per month. So what I would recommend instead is to use Hostinger. This gives you 64% off N8N self-hosting. So you can self-host N8N for as little as $5 per month. All you have to do is select your plan, select your period from 1 month, 12 months, or 24 months. It really doesn't matter. What you need to do is select N8N at the bottom of the screen over here under Applications. Then you can get an additional 10% off if you use the code Leon. And just like that, you're getting N8N for even cheaper. Simply continue with the checkout process. Then from your dashboard, simply click on Manage App. And now you have access to your very own N8N instance at a fraction of the cost. Alright, so once we've set up our very simple workflow that exposes a webhook, then I'm only grabbing certain messages from Claude Code. I don't necessarily want to receive everything. And I'm sending a message to my Telegram account. Then back in Claude Code, we can use a built-in feature called hooks. So if we run the command hooks, we have access to a whole bunch of hooks that get triggered while Claude Code is running, like notifications, as well as stop. So I'll go with stop, add new hook, and for the command, I actually don't know. So I'll just say, no yet, let's run this. We'll store it at project level. And that should be it. So now in our Claude settings file, we can see the hook that we just configured. So now we have to replace this command with a call to our actual N8N webhook. So I'm simply going to copy my webhook URL, and then I'll let Claude Code do all of the hard work. So let's pull in the settings file. Hey there, I need you to complete the setup of this webhook. The idea is that we want to receive notifications from Claude Code once the agent completes work. So effectively, we want to receive the final message produced by Claude Code. Then we want to send that message to an N8N webhook. And here's the URL to the webhook. Then I'll just paste that in. So there is documentation related to using hooks in Claude Code. So I'm actually going to just copy this URL and then here's the link to the Claude hooks documentation. And that's really it. Let's send this, and within a second or two, we should receive notifications from Claude Code on Telegram. So Claude created this Python file that calls this N8N webhook, and it's passing this payload to N8N. And of course, we can tell it exactly what to include in the payload. And now when we send the message to Claude, we should receive a message to Telegram once Claude completes, which we do. So your messages can be customized to look however you want. I'm simply including the project folder along with the event that was triggered and the final message. How cool is that? So I can let Claude cook, I can go off and do whatever I want, and once Claude is done, I'll receive a message. So as a little bonus round, here's another way that you can use Claude with N8N. This is not necessarily Claude Code specific, but of course you can use Claude Code to do this as well. You can expose N8N as an MCP server itself, which means that Claude or Claude Code can remotely access your workflows, and it can create workflows, edit them, execute them, etc. So that way you don't even have to expose a webhook at all. Claude will just have access to your workflow. But here's a really silly way to use it as well. If you install the Claude browser extension, of course we can change the model, and in this extension we can say, please create an N8N workflow with a chat trigger node, with an AI agent node, with memory, You can use OpenAI for the inference, and for the system prompt, make the agent respond like a pirate. So even if you don't know how to use N8N, just fire off Claude in the browser and it will just create the workflow for you. And by the way, I'm not touching anything. This is simply Claude using the browser to create this workflow for us. It can even troubleshoot issues itself. So from my perspective, it's not really a debate on whether you should use Claude Code or N8N. My answer is use both. They both have their place, especially when building complex solutions. If you would like to improve your skills in Claude Code or N8N, then definitely consider joining my school community, Agentic Labs. We have a vibrant community of like-minded people who build real solutions using all of these different AI tools. And we also have structured classrooms for both N8N and Claude Code. And we also have weekly Q&A sessions. If you join now, you will lock in your subscription at $7 a month, even when the price is increased. I hope to see you there. And YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this next video, so I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.